Hi guys, it's Kendra. So the girls are down for a nap and I'm going to film my Q&A for you finally. I asked on Instagram and also on YouTube for any questions that you guys had, baby related, YouTube, just anything. So I'm going to go through all of those questions. A lot of them are pretty similar, so I'll try to address those first. I got my coffee, I'm ready to go, so let's do this. How do I get my girls to sleep at the same time? So one thing that helps is they're identical, so they do have a similar internal clock. So if you guys have fraternal twins, then it might be a little bit harder. But some things I always do is if they're not waking up at the exact same time, if one girl wakes up and then the other one's asleep still, I won't let her sleep longer than usually 20 minutes because then it throws everything off. So say Violet wakes up first because she usually wakes up first. Once Violet is awake for like 15 minutes, I'll go into the nursery and I'll turn off the sound machine. That usually will wake June up. If it doesn't, then I'll just, open her door, open the blinds and make some noise and try to get her to wake up on her own. If she won't, then I'll slowly start to talk to her and wake her up. But I try to keep them pretty similar as far as when they're waking up. So that way when they're up at a similar time, they get tired at a similar time. And then I usually put them down at the same time no matter what. So, say June woke up 20 minutes later, I still will typically put her down when I put Violet down because she's the better sleeper, so she'll usually just fall asleep. I feel like with twins, there's one that's gonna be the better sleeper, so you just have to kind of gauge it. When I was sleep training them, when they weren't really on a set schedule, right now they're very clockwork. If you guys want more about sleep training, I will put the video down below. But say, Violet was waking up and it only had been 45 minutes, I, again, will still wake June up because I don't want them to be completely off. There was a couple days when it was really off, like an hour, which was not good, but just know that it'll eventually get back to normal. So just try really hard to always put them down at the same time. And if one's up, it's hard, but you gotta wake the other one up. And I've read a lot of sleeping books about twins, and they all say that you need to wake the other one up. They always say don't wake up a sleeping baby, but that kind of is not true with twins because you've got to keep them on the same schedule or else you never have a moment for yourself. And I've always kept them in the same room for sleeping and they've been fine because usually when one's crying, it doesn't wake the other one up. And now I honestly feel like June is just used to Violet crying because she's typically the one who cries before she falls asleep. And I think that when June's older, she's just gonna be the best sleeper because she'll sleep through anything. The next question I get asked all the time is how do I tell them apart? It's getting easier for me to tell them apart because they really have distinct looks, but it's very hard to explain that to somebody. So I'm with them all day long, every day, so I can really just distinguish their faces because there's something about June's face that's a little bit different than Violet. I feel like June's features are a little bit more prominent and Violet's are a little more like dainty. I don't even know if that's even something that's accurate, but for me, that's kind of how I see it. June has a little bit of chubbier cheeks and Violet has a little bit more of a pointy chin, but when I say that, it's so subtle. Also Violet, one of her ears is a little bit like pinched at the top and June's is rounded. And I think I did that when they were little, like from nursing them. I think that my finger was always on Violet's ear. I don't know. That's what I kind of think because it looks just like my finger kind of like imprinted it right there. But other than that, they're the exact same size. We just went for their checkup appointment. They weighed the exact same. They're the exact same height, exact same head circumference. So as far as size goes, they're the same. Their hair color, eye color, skin tone is exactly the same. It's really crazy. I think it's pretty cool. And they have kind of different personalities. Like June, it's easier to make her laugh. She has more of a belly laugh. And, but at the same time, Violet, it's easier to get her to smile for pictures. Like in all my pictures, a lot of the time is Violet smiling. June is a little bit, she's not as good with strangers. She's a little bit afraid. So she always looks to me first if we're with a stranger. And Violet's a little bit more like easygoing when it comes to other people. But Violet is more serious about things. Like when I'm with her throughout the day, she's, gets a little bit more angry about things and always kind of has this like concerned look on her face. Whereas June is a little bit more carefree, but they have so much personality and I love that. I love seeing how they change every day and what they're learning, and it's been so much fun. Another question that I got asked a lot was how I managed breastfeeding and also supplementing formula. So I started giving them formula around 4 months. I was not producing enough milk for them because I found that out because they weren't gaining any weight. I know the fullness of your boobs is not something that's like accurate to tell how much milk you have, because I really was not leaking at all. I only leaked in the very beginning, but checking their weight is a way to see, if they're not growing, then obviously they need to eat some more. So I started giving them a little bit of formula after I would nurse them. So I would nurse both babies, and then I would fill up a bottle with a little bit of formula. And everybody always asks, like, how much did you give them in the beginning? And I don't really remember. I think I just filled up a bottle and I just saw what they drank. They're gonna tell you when they're full. So when they would stop drinking the bottle, then I just realized that they were done. And I kind of saw how much they would drink every time. And usually I would fill a bottle up with just like 4 ounces. And sometimes they would drink all of it. Sometimes they would just drink a little bit. It just depended on how much they were nursing. And that helped tremendously. And I did so many things to help my milk to keep it up, but it just got to the point where I needed to give them more formula. So now I'm actually completely done breastfeeding as of like a week ago, which is so weird, but it just was time. They weren't really nursing anymore, and they would just kind of lay there and smile at me, and I knew there wasn't really much left. And it's funny, everybody's like, well, just be careful when you stop nursing, your boobs are gonna get so swollen and it's gonna be like so painful. And none of that happened to me. Like, they sucked me dry. I think I nursed them till I had no drops of milk left inside of me, but that's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to give them everything I could possibly give them as far as my milk goes. And now they get solely formula, and then we're doing food now. So now for formula, I usually fill up a bottle of 6 ounces, and I try to get them to drink 6 every time they eat, but sometimes they will only drink like 4, and that's fine. I really just do it until they're full. In the morning, they usually always drink 6, and at night I fill up a bottle of 8 ounces, and I try to get them to drink at least 5 before they go to bed. Sometimes they'll drink more, but yeah, I try to get them to eat at least 5 just because I want to keep them full throughout the night. And the formula that I use is called Babies Only. I researched so many different formulas, and that was the best option that I found. It was definitely hard because I didn't want to give them formula, but they needed to gain weight and they needed to get more to eat. So that is what I did, and they were so much happier after we did that. And then I started incorporating solids around 6 months, and we started with egg yolk. I have this book, it's like a holistic book. I'll try to link it down below, and they talk about how egg yolks are really good for babies. And you can start at 4 months, and it's hard for them to digest the whites, so that's why you just do the yolks. And it tells how to cook it and everything. So we did that first, and you mix it with formula so that it looks like baby food. And then I tried sweet potatoes, which they do really like, but I think it's making them constipated, so I'm gonna try to wait on the sweet potatoes, and avocado. And they do like that. They don't love it, but they don't hate it. Today I actually just tried for the first time. It's the Earth's Best Whole Grain Oatmeal Cereal, because I didn't want to do rice cereal because I feel like there's not much to it. At least oatmeal cereal has a little bit more, and there's fiber in that, and I think that's gonna help with their digestion. And I mixed that with some pears, so it'll taste a little better. And they really, really liked that. They tried it today and they really liked it. I also got a couple other things from, what is the company? Before I was just making my own, but I saw some like really good organic canned ones at Sprouts. These are the ones that I found. They're by Beechnut, and this one is the Just Peas and Spinach, and they're organic, non-GMO, so we will try those out. And I just give them a little bit every day. Usually, like after their first nap, I'll give them some, and they don't eat a ton, but I think it's just good for them to get used to that and get used to eating something, and it takes up a lot of time, which is always nice. The next question is, what is your favorite makeup and clothing brand? I shop from so many places: Nordstrom Rack, Target, Windsor, Forever 21, American Eagle, H&M, Gap. I don't know, just wherever. Like if I'm looking for something in particular, I'll just search for it. As far as makeup goes, again, I have so many different brands. I think I like different brands for different products. I think a lot of companies specialize in certain things. If you guys want to see my makeup storage, I will link that down below, and you can just see kind of some of the brands that come up a lot more. Oh, another question we got a lot is, are you planning on having more kids? Yes, I originally wanted 3 kids, but now that we have twins, I want 4, because I feel like if I have one more kid, then they will feel left out because it's the twins. It'll always be the twins and then them. So I feel like I need to have 4 so that they have, you know, like a buddy. So, and also, I don't really see having twins. I mean, I know it's like obviously you have 2 kids, but everything's at the same time. So I feel like once they're older, it's gonna go by so quickly. So for that reason, I want to have another one because as far as like the time span goes, I feel like it just like shortens everything a lot. So I want to have more kids now because of that. Another question is, how do we decide on their names? And then what boy names do we like? I'm not going to give you guys boy names because we might have a boy. So I want to keep those to myself. But we decided on their names because, I mean, they're kind of old-fashioned names and I really like classic names. I'm not really into very trendy names. I just like honestly, I always say I like old names. So usually what I do is I keep a note on my phone, and whenever I hear a name I like, I write it down. And same with like middle names too. And then, you know, after a while you have a long running list of names. Once I found out we were having 2 girls, I came up with a bunch of different names that I liked that went together. And I told Andrew, and I kind of just gave him like a couple to pick from because he's really picky with girl names. And those were the 2 names that we both agreed on. So, and then as far as where we heard them from, I don't really know. I just like heard them and liked them. They're not really like significant from family. The only thing in that is from family is Violet's middle name is Noelle, and that's my middle name, and it was my grandma's maiden name. The next question that was asked a ton is when I know when to do certain things, like when I know it's time to transition them out of their rock and plays into their crib, when I know when to take their DockATots out of their crib. Here's the thing that I have learned. There is no right time. I don't know the right time. These are my first kids. I have nothing to go off of. I really don't have any friends that have kids. So it's kind of just like, you gotta go with your gut and go with your intuition and pay attention to your kids and just be smart about it. And just, you know, it's not really rocket science. I think a lot of people are so like invested and they think they have to do everything so perfect. And I mean, obviously you want to make the right decision, but at the end of the day, it's going to be fine. They're going to be fine. If you wait an extra 2 weeks to move them into their crib, it's okay. I don't think there is a right time for a baby to do certain things. Everybody's different. My girls were born a month early, so that puts them, you know, that just throws everything off. So for me especially, I really cannot compare them to other babies. But like if you guys want specific times, I think I knew that it was time to transition them out of their rock and plays because they started moving more and they started kind of slouching down in them. So when they would wake up, their feet would be like a frog. And I just thought that like wasn't really natural for them to be like slumped down. And so I wanted them to be laying stretched out. And the other reason why I wanted to take them out of the rock and plays was that their heads looked like they were getting kind of flat on the back. So I wanted them to be able to move their head side to side and round out their heads. When we first brought the girls home from the hospital, they slept in the bassinet. They shared a bassinet from Pottery Barn, but they didn't sleep very good in that, so we put them in the rock and plays very early on. And then the reason I took the DockATots out, one, is because we're taking them to Nashville in a couple weeks, and they're gonna be sleeping in pack and plays. And I was just kind of stressing over the fact that they're only sleeping in their DockATots. How are they gonna sleep in a normal bed? So that was one reason why I wanted to. And the other reason was they started to move a lot more and roll around, and they couldn't move in the DockATot. So I think the DockATot was really good for those couple months, and I think it really helped to keep them, you know, nice and snuggled in, and they felt very comforted, I think, by it. But it gets to a point where they need to start moving around and practicing rolling over, and Andrew actually didn't want to take them out because he liked the fact that they couldn't roll over, so you don't have to worry about that, you know, them moving or whatever. But I think it's just good for them to practice moving around, stretching out, and they did really good. Like the day I took the DockATots out, they were fine. They cried maybe a little bit extra, but within a day they were completely adjusted. And I think if you're ever gonna change something, you need to commit to it and just do it cold turkey. Anything sleep related, I have found you cannot go back on what you say. Like if you say you're doing no binkies, you can't give them a binky if they're crying a lot, because then it just takes away all the hard work that you did. So if you are deciding to get rid of their Dockatots, just get them out, cut them out, and then don't look back. Just figure out how you're gonna go from there. Don't think, okay, well, let's just do it for nap time, because it's gonna confuse them. So you need to just get your babies used to the new routine. Next question is, any advice for small YouTubers? My advice would be, one, okay, it's kind of hard now because YouTube is so saturated with YouTubers. When I started YouTube, it was like 5 years ago, and it was definitely way different. I would not start a YouTube channel if you're looking for it to be your job. I think a lot of people do that now. They want to be a YouTuber and they want to get free product and they want to just be a YouTuber to have like the name of being a YouTuber and like this whole thing that people think that it is. And it's not that. It's not about that. And I think if you go into it with that mindset that you want to do it to just make money and just get free stuff, you are gonna realize that it takes a lot more work than you think it does. It's not just gonna come to you easy. I think that if you go into it with that mindset, you're gonna be really disappointed. You're going to realize that it doesn't happen overnight and you're gonna get really bored. And I think you need to really have something that you wanna share with people. That needs to be the center point of your channel. If you don't have that, people are gonna see right through that and they're not gonna trust you. People want to watch people that they can trust. I got a lot of you guys asking how I can drink and still breastfeed. So I would just have like one glass, and in the beginning I could only have like a half a glass of wine. And basically you just don't want to feel it. Like if you start feeling buzzed, you need to stop. So I would just drink a little bit in the beginning and it's fine. Like especially if I wanted to have a drink, I would just do it at night because you're not nursing them for a while and then it's out of your system. You guys can do research on it, but I would just, drink a little bit, and once I started to kind of feel it, then I would stop drinking. I did not drink that much. Like I think somewhere I read it said to wait till the babies are 3 months because they can't process it. Oh gosh, UPS is here. Kyla's gonna start barking. So I waited till about 3 months till I had a drink. But now that I'm not breastfeeding, it's kind of nice to just end the day and have a glass of wine and not worry about it. Okay, next question is, what are the items that you bought that you didn't use? So I did buy the Bumbos, and we didn't use them for that long, so I don't know if I'd buy them again. There's just such a short amount of time that you really need them for. Like it's when they can't really fully sit up yet. So I don't know. I mean, if you can buy those things, I would just buy them used so you don't buy them full price. It's hard because with twins, you have to buy 2 of everything. So actually, I don't really think I needed to have 2 of them. I probably could have just had 1. For clothes, now for our next baby, if we have a girl, I'm not gonna buy dresses. Like, I'm not gonna buy dresses until they can move more, because when they're laying on the ground and stuff, dresses just don't make sense because they're riding up. So I'm a huge fan of shorts and t-shirts and just rompers that are one pieces because it makes things a lot easier. And for naps, we always put them in like a zip up blanket. So if they have a dress on, it's just hard and it rides up. So I wish I didn't buy so many like cute dresses because we never ever use them. Where do we get the girls' bedding? We have a couple different sets of sheets. I got one from Nordstrom, one's from Burt's Bees, and then the other one is from Oilo Studios. I think that's how you pronounce it. Oilo. That's the one with the white one with like the pink floral, which a lot of people ask about. Another question a lot of you guys asked is, what has motherhood been like and how is it different being a mom? So I always wanted to be a mom. My greatest fear in life was that I couldn't have kids. Just becoming a mom was something that I always just really wanted to do. I don't feel like our family is complete in any way. Like it does feel like we're a step closer, but I definitely want more kids because I feel like, I just want a big family. So it's kind of cool that we had twins right off the bat, that we're already a family of 4. Having twins has just it's been such a blessing and such a cool experience that I'm just really, really grateful for. And I feel like if you guys are pregnant with twins, another video I'm doing, I want to do a video for those of you guys who are pregnant with twins on what to expect and that sort of thing. But if you guys are pregnant with twins, just know that it is so worth it. Like being pregnant with twins is the worst. It is awful, but I would 100% do it again. If I found out I was having twins again, if I was pregnant with twins again, obviously I would be like, this kind of sucks. I'm gonna have that pregnancy again. but I would do it again because the reward is so big and it's just so cool. And a lot of people say, oh, you just make it so easy having twins. I think the main thing that I've tried to do is just take it day by day and not stress about things. Just go with the flow. And honestly, I think having two kind of forced me to do that, because if I just had one, I might be a little bit more stressed about certain things. But since there are two, I have another one to compare them to. So if one baby is doing fine and the other one's not, at least I know that I'm doing something right because they're okay. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know what it is, but having two has kind of made me just, it's forced me to relax. But obviously the first couple months were really tough and stressful at times when they were crying all the time. But once they hit 4 months, they were so much better. And now it is like a whole nother world. I look back on that time and I just like can't even really remember it clearly, but it was such a whirlwind. But now it's completely different and our days are so much easier and so much better and there's not much crying. So if you guys do have twins and you're in that like very early stage, there is hope that it'll get a lot easier. It's also nice that they're my first because I have nothing to compare them to. So this is all I know as far as being a mom. So now when I have just one baby, it'll be so bizarre. I'm gonna be like, oh wow, this is it. The same person asked if I had a struggle with postpartum depression, guilt, breastfeeding, all that. I didn't struggle with any postpartum depression. I think the placenta pills really helped because when you're pregnant with twins, you have double the hormones, so it's kind of crazy. When I was pregnant, I was absolutely insane. But afterwards, I was very even, and I think that had a lot to do with taking my placenta pills. I think that really, really helped like level out my hormones. But yeah, I felt like I was pretty calm during the whole thing. At least my mom told me I was pretty calm afterwards. Some people asked if I breastfed in public and how to do that. I actually never did. I bought like those nursing covers and I never used them. The thing with twins is going anywhere takes a lot of work and it's pretty hard to go anywhere. So having to nurse with them in public just does not even seem possible. Like that is something that I just would never want to attempt. It seems way too hard. So I never did that. I nursed in the car a couple times, which was not fun. It was a pain in the butt. But most of the time, like when they were really young, we didn't leave the house very often. If I had older kids, I know it'd probably be a lot different. But for me, when they had to eat, I just always tried to be home and it just worked for me. When did you put the girls in the Love to Dream swaddles at night? Trying to think, we put them in those when they started breaking out of their swaddles. We used to just do like the traditional wrap swaddle when they were first born and it worked out great. And then they started to break out of them all the time. So we did the Love to Dream when their arms are up and they zip up. The zip is so easy. So now when we have another baby, I will use the Love to Dream swaddles from the very beginning because they're so much easier. I think it's more comfortable for their arms to be up. And then once I'm trying to think when I switched them out of the ones that have the zipper, because then you can leave one arm out. I don't know when I did that. Again, I don't know like specific time frames for these things, but when you want to start sleep training and maybe if you want them to suck their thumb to soothe themselves to sleep, you want to have an arm free to help with that. And the other reason why is because when they start to roll over, obviously you need to have their arms free so that they're not stuck there. Do I use anything on my C-section scar? Yes, I use the Derma E scar gel, and I also use this salve that the lady who did my placenta, she makes it. It's called the Blessed Bottom Butter, I think. And I use that at night, and then I use scar gel on my scar during the day, but I forget all the time. If I had to pick one moisturizer for the summer months, what would it be? I'm using the Shea Moisture Mommy body lotion right now. It's firming, so I think it really helps to tighten up your skin. So that is the moisturizer that I'm using right now. But a really good after sun lotion is the one from Burt's Bees, and also the Korres after sun lotion is really good too. I love those to take in my beach bag if you're going to the beach or something. What did you pack in your hospital bag? Guys, I packed everything that you could possibly think of in my hospital bag. I watched a million YouTube videos and the only thing that I took out was chapstick. I'm not kidding. It was such a waste. I look at people's pictures after giving birth and they're like in their cute robes. I had a cute robe too. I haven't even worn it yet. And they look so beautiful. They have curls. Their eyelashes are done. I look disgusting, and I just think, how in the world do they look like that? Like, I was a wreck. So no, I did not use anything in my hospital bag. Maybe it'll be different if I have a different birth the next time, but it was just crazy. My labor was awful, and nothing really went as I thought it would go. But I feel like that's just how it goes. You always, whatever you think is gonna happen, it's not gonna happen. So I don't have any advice on what to bring because I didn't use anything. They give you a lot of stuff at the hospital though. Okay, questions about our stroller. I love our stroller. It's the company is Baby Jogger, and the stroller we have City Select, and you buy the different attachments for your car seats. So the car seats I have are Maxi Cozy, and I love them. I didn't like them as much in the beginning because I didn't feel like they fit in them very well. But the reason was because they'd outgrown the infant inserts. So you take the inserts out, and now they fit really good in the stroller or in the car seat. So I really like that. We haven't put the actual like normal seats on the stroller yet because we're just using the car seat still. It's a pretty heavy duty stroller, but it's really easy to maneuver. We just started using the side-by-side stroller by Evenflow just because it's so much lighter. And if we ever just want to sit them somewhere like next to each other and just use it to take them somewhere quick, like when we're going to the doctor, we'll put them in there. That is a little bit more comfortable for them, I think, than just being in the car seat. And that one's just better for travel because it's lighter. What is the #1 hair product that you cannot live without? Probably a leave-in conditioner. I like the Aveda Damage Remedy is really good. The chlorine, it's a pink bottle. It's a leave-in conditioner for color-treated hair. I really like that one too. Alterna has a lot of good leave-in conditioners. Definitely a leave-in conditioner. The best and worst aspects of parenthood. The best is when you get the girls out of their cribs and they have this giant smile when they see you. When they look at you and smile, it is the absolute best thing. It's the cutest thing you'll ever see, and it just melts your heart. And seeing them just look at you and you're their world, that is by far the best. And seeing both me and Andrew in their faces is just so weird. It's crazy. The worst part, gosh, I don't know. Maybe in the very beginning when they were crying all the time, and especially with twins, when I would be by myself and I'm nursing one of them and the other one would be screaming, crying the entire time, and knowing that there's nothing I can do about it, that was really hard. So I just had to mentally tell myself just to relax, because when you're stressed, it's way harder to breastfeed and your body's not going to release the milk, so you need to be really relaxed. So I would either leave the room or just try to take a deep breath, but I think just the crying really got to me, so that was really hard because a lot of babies just cry and you don't really know what it is, so probably that. If you had a full baby-free day to do whatever you wanted, what would be your ideal day? Okay, I would sleep in. It'd probably be just to like 6 o'clock because now I wake up so early. We usually wake up around 5:30, so if I could sleep in until 7, that'd be nice. I would sleep in, I would go out to coffee. Well, first I'd get ready. I'd go get coffee with a friend maybe, or with Andrew, and have a nice breakfast. And then I would go get a massage. I would get like a 2-hour massage. And then I would get a cocktail and I would go to the pool and I would lay out and drink my cocktail and get a nice lunch. And maybe I'd go get my nails done. And then I'd probably go shopping and buy a bunch of stuff for the girls, and at that point I'd probably be going crazy because I miss them so much. When you were a little kid, what did you want to be when you grew up? I always wanted to be a teacher. From like kindergarten, I always wanted to be a teacher. And I went to school to become a teacher. Well, I majored in communications, and then any electives that I had or extra courses that I wanted to take, I did child development or just different classes that were prereqs to get into the credential program. And then I worked with kids for a year after I graduated college. I went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, for those of you guys who are wondering. And I just kind of realized that I didn't want to be a teacher anymore. And it was Andrew who actually helped me realize that. And it was weird. I had just started doing YouTube at the time and I was loving it. It was just such a new thing and I wanted to put all of my energy in that. And then the passion that I thought I had for teaching was just not there. And when I looked into the future, I could not see myself as a teacher. So I decided that I wasn't going to do that anymore, which is scary because that was always what I thought I wanted to be. But yeah, here we are. Some people are asking how my milk supply is doing. It's gone. And I don't really know if any of the supplements I took really helped. I don't know. I just think I'm glad I went 6 months, but I did so many things to try to help it. And there's no way of knowing if that it was just my body or those things actually helped. So I don't know. Where do you get the majority of your ideas for home decorating? I love Pinterest. I used to use it all the time, but now I don't really have time to just scroll through Pinterest. I would say Instagram is where I get most of my ideas. I follow a lot of people who have pretty homes, and I get a lot of ideas from other bloggers and just scrolling through like the popular feed and just seeing those things. Why did you guys move back to California? Why did you leave Washington? A lot of people think I still live in Seattle. So Andrew and I lived in Seattle for like 5 months, if that. Andrew was doing one of his rotations. He's a physical therapist, so he was doing one of his rotations up there. We thought it would just be fun to go somewhere new. But Andrew and I are both from Southern California. We actually were born in the same hospital, and we met in high school. So we both are from California. We left for just a little bit, and we came right back just because that's where he was going to school, and we kind of want to move out of state eventually, but for the time being, we're going to be here for a while. Do twins run in yours or Andrew's families? So identical twins are not genetic. Anybody can have identical twins. It's just your egg randomly splits. So no, twins don't run in our family. We're just lucky. We just got 2 of you. Huh. If you could picture the girls doing sports or hobbies when they're older, what do you think they would be? I don't know. I did dance growing up my whole life. I did ballet, tap, jazz, everything you can think of. And then I did lacrosse in high school along with cheer and dance. So deep down I want them to do dance because I love dance. But obviously if they want to do tennis or whatever, I'm not going to care. They can do whatever they want. Are you getting hungry? Oh, you can't pull my hair? Great. How did Andrew and I meet? They just started doing this. We met in high school. Well, actually, I think I met him in junior high, but we started talking in high school, and I was friends with some of his friends, and we walked to, what are you doing? We walked to math class together and just started talking, and we were kind of friends first. And then we started dating later. I'm looking for a new neutral palette. I'm using the Urban Decay Naked Basics right now. Actually, I don't really like the Naked Basics. I feel like there's not enough range of color. I would suggest the Ultimate Basics by Urban Decay or It Cosmetics Naturally Pretty. That's a really good one. Somebody asked about spitting up. June used to spit up a ton. She doesn't spit up as much anymore. But one thing that I started to do is just putting like bibs on them during the day just so I don't have to change them 100 times. Their high chairs are by Nuna and we really like them. Any more? Here. What baby monitor do we have? We have the Summer Infant one. Is DockATot worth it? I really liked it. I'm going to for sure use it again with our next child. Any tips for sleeping at night on vacation? I would bring, if you guys use a sound machine, bring the sound machine. Bring just everything the same that you do at night. Like if they sleep in a zip up blanket, bring that just so everything's consistently the same. And if you read them books before bed, do that. Try to give them a bath before bed. Just try to keep things the same. Junie, you're so cute. Oh, you're so cute. Tips on introducing your dog to them. We used to play YouTube videos of babies crying to Kyla, and she never responded to them at all. And she's been, oh, look at her sucking her thumb. It's so cute. She has been good with them from the very beginning, so we're really, really lucky. She is so good with them. She just comes up and licks their toes if they're crying. She brings their binkies to them, believe it or not. Like she will find one and pick it up and bring it to them. It's insane. And all her toys look like they're binkies, yet she's never chewed one up. I'm going to end this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed this and got all of your questions answered. You want the phone? You can't have it. No! You can't have that. Can you say bye? Say bye. Just wanted to let Violet say hello so she's not left out. Say hello to everybody. Say hello, friends.
are down there playing with the toy.
All right, we'll talk to you guys later.